The Mayflower Pilgrims were rebels who sailed to America in 1620. A lot of the key pilgrim leaders came from the area around Retford, like William Brewster from Scrooby and William Bradford from Austerfield. They disagreed with the king in how he was running the church, and so they wanted to go and build a new life somewhere where they could worship as they saw fit. They didn't want church to be fancy, but simple, and they didn't agree that the bishop should tell them what to do. The local pilgrims felt so strongly about this that they would go and worship in different villages and in secret. This was a real act of rebellion and could get them in big trouble with the church and with the king. The punishments and rules from the king and the church were getting so bad that the pilgrims decided they would have to leave the country. First they went to Holland and lived there for about 10 years. Then they realised they'd have to go to a newly discovered land to be really free, and they were going to go to a place that they'd heard very few people lived in. This land was called America. They teamed up with some strangers and crossed the huge Atlantic Ocean to get there. It took them 2 months on board a tiny ship, much longer than they expected. They had planned to take 2 boats, the Speedwell and the Mayflower, but the Speedwell kept leaking and delayed them setting off properly. It must have been very frightening and frustrating. 102 passengers plus the crew crammed onto a tiny cargo ship. It took them 2 months to get there, going through dreadful storms, and they'd even been blown off course. They arrived in America in the wrong place, with no friends and not much of a plan.